Well, hello, everybody. Tom Ackerman with you, and welcome to ACS Day at the Ballpark Walk Off to Fight Cancer. As you know, uh, the ACS Day at the Ballpark was canceled due to COVID, such a big fundraiser for the American Cancer Society at Busch Stadium. A huge group selling tickets for the St. Louis Cardinals, no doubt about it. I'm Tom Ackerman. I'm with the Cardinals Radio Network and KMOX Radio, sports director at KMOX. It's a thrill to be with you and to be joined by some very special guests. And to start things off tonight, I want to welcome you, first of all, and thank you so much for being with us virtually. It means a ton to us.
It's not live.
Oh.
You're good.
Oh,
wait,
okay.
it says it's live.
We are live.
We are live. All right.
Hey, that's Christine Winter, everybody, with the American Cancer Society.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to go away now.
She's doing awesome behind the scenes. And we love our folks here. We love that all of you joined us. We congratulate you on being here and being with us and participating. No doubt about it. Let's bring in, we had Christine. Now let's bring in the other part of the dynamic duo, and that would be Jason McClellan. Jason, thank you very much for being here and organizing this. And what's the latest with the American Cancer Society? How's everybody there?
Yeah, thanks, Tom, for being with us tonight. I think here at ACS, just like everybody else during this pandemic, we've definitely been affected, just as an organization, but also cancer patients in general. At the society, our bread and butter has been fundraising events, and we actually had to cancel a majority of our fundraising events this year, which has created a shortfall of about $200 million. And where we could pivot to some of those virtual events, we did the best we can. I think we became all broadcast experts in this short period of time. But, we think of losing that type of income. It also affects the mission of what we do. And, we're struggling now. We are forecasting to basically cut our research funding in half. Which we are the largest non-governmental funder of cancer research, both here at Missouri and across the country. So I think that's going to have an effect on, years that come in the cancer research world. And then just patient services, hospitals are overwhelmed with things right now. And, some of the elective procedures and a lot of our preventive measures have also gone portray as well. So we're just trying to, kind of get the community back into a safe environment. And then, hopefully next year things turn around once we get that vaccine and we can get back to somewhat of a new normal and, take care of business in our cancer front.
How can we help you? I mean, we know that funding, you kind of just assume that cancer research continues to go, that awareness continues to go out there. It doesn't happen without funding, Jason. I mean, you need the funds to keep it going at that level. How do we help?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just donations. I mean, outside of just, going to cancer.org and giving, any dollar amount you can. I mean, every dollar we raise goes towards the mission of what we do. But keeping us in mind, things like this, our ACS Day at the Ballpark, which is, one of our largest fundraisers in St. Louis, had been postponed because, of course, the MLB season. And we had to pivot to this virtual environment. And, just being with us and a part of, our experiences that we're trying to establish. And then kind of on the health front, take care of your cancer patients, the caregivers out there as well, is check in on them, make sure that their mental health is okay, make sure they're getting through this pandemic, safely and healthy, of course. And then, once we're kind of behind the pandemic and that we get that vaccine, we got to get back into getting our screenings, anything from colorectal cancer screenings to breast cancer screenings, like everything in between. So we really got to get back into those preventive mode to make sure we come out of this on the positive.
Absolutely. We want to take care of each other, and we absolutely want to take care of our cancer patients. And Jason, with some great advice there, just to check in on everybody. And there's nothing wrong with just a little check in to see how everybody's doing during this time. Certainly, we all are affected one way or the other, and we're all affected by cancer. I mean, we all know somebody who has cancer or is fighting cancer, or who has fought cancer and has survived. Jason, your relationship with the Cardinals, and we have a very special guest waiting, but I want to ask you about that. It's been a long-standing relationship, and here in 2020, I know they provided us with a great guest here tonight, but they've also been very, very supportive, haven't they?
They have, the Cardinals, we have a pretty long-standing relationship, and it began back in, I believe, 2011 when Bill DeWitt became a part of our CEOs Against Cancer chapter, and we just sat down with staff there just to talk through a relationship, and it kind of evolved into this what we call ACS Day at the Ballpark, and over a 2-day period with the Cardinals, where we bring roughly 13,000 ACS volunteers and Cardinal fans together to raise money for what we do. And, the Cardinals have been very supportive of us and giving us, all these different amenities to help, incentivize our ticket sales. And then this year, of course, being the year of the uncertainty and, no MLB season, the Cardinals, stepped up and gave us some incentives to help us pivot to a virtual event, which is kind of why we're here tonight with Tyler to talk through, and everyone that's listening in are kind of a private conversation because they were some of our top ticket sellers. But the Cardinals, outside of them not being able to help, in person, they've really stepped up and gave us things that we could do and kind of incentivize folks. So we couldn't do it without them.
Well, I appreciate them, of course. Growing up here in St. Louis as a Cardinals fan, I see that sign behind you over your left shoulder. I think it says "I love St. Louis."
It is actually. I put that there for a reason.
Yeah, what a town we are. And just final thing from you, I really appreciate, and I know a lot of us really can't go anywhere right now. I haven't traveled since March. I haven't traveled since I left spring training, but I love it here. I was born and raised here, and I just appreciate us more than ever. I know we're going to come back strong. I know Busch Stadium's going to be full. I know all that stuff's going to happen. But between now and then, we're a very giving, strong community that needs each other.
That's very true. I mean, I grew up on the Illinois side of the river, and I call St. Louis and metro area my home as well. But there's nothing like this community. I mean, in hard times, in this pandemic or even through national disasters, this community steps up and helps out. And, this year has been just the same. So very fortunate to live here as well.
American Cancer Society's Jason McClellan. Jason, thank you very much for the time and for putting this together, you and Christine and everybody else. And I'm going to bring in our new guest. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, it is my pleasure. I host a little show on Facebook Live. I'm actually going to do one tomorrow. I do it every Thursday at 5:30 called the Garage Happy Hour. As you can see, I am not in my garage. I'm actually in my home studio here. I work downtown and at home on KMOX Radio. On the Garage Happy Hour, I probably a little late on this, probably should have had this guest, but this is almost like having our own personal Garage Happy Hour with somebody I really like a lot. I liked him when the Cardinals brought him over from Seattle, and my gut feeling was right. This is a good man, good teammate, good part of this team, and as it turns out, he's an award winner right out of the gate. I'm going to welcome the Gold Glove outfielder from the St. Louis Cardinals. Tyler O'Neill is with us here tonight. Tyler, first of all, thank you for being with us here, and congratulations on your Gold Glove.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate the kind intro on that one.
Absolutely. Well, you did it. I mean, you got it done. I talked to John Mozeliak a week ahead of time. He visits with me every week on my show on Sunday morning, and he said, Tyler, the Fielding Bible loves Tyler, and he was kind of giving me a hint there that Tyler's probably going to win this Gold Glove. It was the year that Rawlings used the Saber Index, and you had it all. I mean, you had more putouts than any left fielder in the National League. You didn't commit an error. You made some spectacular plays, but you made many of the routine plays that, quite frankly, is not easy to do. You had a very, very good year defensively, and congratulations. I know it's something you're very proud of.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, there's a good many plays for me this year. A lot of in-between balls that I worked really hard on, me and Willie, and getting down to spring early, really got after getting the work in and just going to the fundamentals of just clean footwork, seeing the ball well off the bat, just being in a good position, following the card, little things like that. And just saying our entire staff to just being available for me whenever I wanted to, get the work in and improve. The hats off to them for giving me those opportunities to actually become a better ball player. and ultimately winning the award that I did.
It's very kind of you to congratulate everyone else too. You know, it is a team effort to make it happen, and the Cardinals really do emphasize run prevention and defense, don't they? I mean, you look across the board, Tyler. There isn't a player out there who doesn't care about making a play for those pitchers. This is about a lot of things, but defense is a huge part of what Mike Schilt and that group try to do.
Yeah, definitely. We always play clean D. That's kind of the St. Louis motto there. Even I knew that growing up in Canada, kind of getting to baseball, when I was like around 10 or something. But just knowing St. Louis is a great, prestigious, clean baseball written area, I guess. And it clearly shows when you actually get here and see how they run the camps and how we go about ourselves on the field.
And I mentioned to you, in fact, I think it was the first time you had heard it. So all these outfielders that have won Gold Gloves, it's not a huge group, really. I mean, I'm not going to name them all, but some of those that you know really well, like Jim Edmonds and Jason Hayward won a Gold Glove, but that you were the first left fielder in Cardinals history to win a Gold Glove. I mean, that's some company right there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff for me. It just really comes down to believing in myself. A lot of people knocked me for not being able to play D early in my career, coming up through the minors too. So, I felt like I kind of had something to prove there. And, again, just being able to have those opportunities and being given the chance to show that I am good on, the defensive side of the ball and that I can play. It was really what gave me the confidence to be able to make the plays that I did this year. So, again, it's just a collective effort of everything.
And then just the rest of your game rounding into shape, it really feels like, and you look at the numbers, you are improving in some of those areas you wanted to. I know that it's a process, but you could tell there's improvement. And having talked to you on the radio about this, you certainly feel like offensively you're starting to see some things that you think could be good signs for the future.
Definitely. Yeah. We were able to play with some things with the approach last year and, really understand how I'm getting attacked in the league and, how I'm going to counter that and how I can just be as consistent as possible and put in the work every day to be as consistent as possible to win ball games, because that's what it's about, obviously. So, I'm thankful for that. Unfortunately, it was definitely a down year for me on the offensive side of the ball, but I know that's not the kind of hitter that I am. I know I've got a lot more in the tank than that, and I got a lot to prove over there. So, just being able to get the glove on the other side and being able to direct my focus back to the offense is really going to do dividends for me.
I know the Cardinals like you a lot. I mean, when this guy gets a hold of one, he hits the ball a long way.
That's the goal right there, at least. So.
This guy hits the ball a ton. And super fast. I mean, I'd love to see a foot race between you and Bader. I think everyone claims Bader to be the fastest. He's quick, there's no doubt. But this guy can fly right here, Tyler O'Neill. I want to ask you about just being a ball player this year. While it was a challenge, I'm sure during the pandemic, you kind of had to take yourself back, didn't you, to being that kid and just your love for the game. It's a mentally tough baseball team to go through what you went through and make the playoffs. To do that, you have to try to have some fun, don't you?
For sure. Yeah, we knew. Nobody knew what was to expect when we first got locked out there in Florida back in March. I think we had untreaded waters, so we were locking down just like everybody else, and being able to get the call to come back and. I think late June, early July to start summer camp was pretty exciting for all of us. So, but obviously there was measures in place. No fans at the park. Super restricted getting into Busch too. There were top-notch security there, just making sure everyone's cleared and just follows the protocol. Because we had to, and unfortunately we get locked out again because COVID, and that's just the way it works. So. It was definitely an up and down year for us as a club, but we battled through. We scrapped as much as we could, and just better luck next year for us.
Well, Matt Gifford is my old fraternity brother from Indiana University. He's the head of operations at Busch Stadium. He's so good at his job, but they all do. I mean, it was like everybody played a part. You, the staff, Walshy in the clubhouse, and all those guys.
Tireless.
Bill Finley and the group keeping the field together. That's That's not an easy operation. Everybody played a part. I'm sure you on the inside, I didn't get to see it. I just know that was you have a great appreciation for that.
For sure. Yeah, everyone was on their A game, when it came to like even like the chefs, everybody, they stepped up at the completely different protocols, all across the board. Just even scheduling, we had to stay away from each other. So, we never really got that camaraderie, I guess you could say, that true camaraderie that you usually get with the boys. And that's okay. Obviously circumstances dictate that, but, hopefully things clean up pretty soon and we can do it again in the near future here.
Can't wait to get it going. What was it like playing in empty ballparks? How different was it without fans?
Yeah, it was definitely something. There's not that buzz at Busch that there usually is. Everybody knows that. But there's it's definitely is just a different outlook from everywhere. You step up to home plate and used to seeing fans in left and right center, and there's just bleachers there. It's kind of like takes you back to your high school days, like you're playing travel ball again. So that's kind of how we tried to look at it. We really shifted our focus that way. So we were kind of there already, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's just it's so crazy. It all happened so fast. It was only 60 games and then it's done. So anything can happen in a 60-game season. It's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing to me actually that Major League Baseball pulled it off, to be honest. I mean, every single team played their 60 except for the Cardinals. Cardinals are the only ones they played 58, and that's because they made the playoffs. They didn't have to go to Detroit to play that doubleheader. And that's remarkable. I mean, it really is. And for this team to go through, I mean, folks, they went through not one, but 2 quarantines, and they had to actually sit in the hotel in Milwaukee for a week. I mean, I don't know. It's a heck of a feat. How do you play doubleheader after doubleheader?
Yeah, that was a lot in the last month. We were pretty close to playing a doubleheader every 2-3 days for a couple of weeks there. So, Tank gets burnt out a bit, but everyone's got to do it. So it's got to man up.
Yeah, I think Goldie said something like, there were days where we were like, who are we playing? What's going on? But your staff is so good and they prepare you so well. Who are some of your favorites in that clubhouse? I mean, that's not, again, you weren't able to spend a lot of time together like normal, but it's a good group, isn't it? I mean, I feel like you can't not have a good group and make the playoffs like you did.
For sure. I mean, the chemistry with us is always good. Obviously, if I'm going to try and pick a hitter's brain, I'm going to Goldie and Carp and those guys over there. When you want to talk a different perspective, talk to maybe Ya or Wayno, to see the defensive side of the ball, how they might attack different guys or, see something similar to me. How are you going to go about this? But, just the intelligence, the baseball IQ that we had as a group, is really what excels us as St. Louis to be successful.
Yeah, it was a good group. I loved I just loved the little playful back and forth between you and Dex. How did that happen now? So Dex was out. Dexter Fowler we're talking about. He was out because he had a medical condition that required that he take a medicine, but when he took the medicine, it made him it affected his immune system. So he would have been more susceptible to COVID. So it wasn't like Dexter Fowler couldn't play, but he could not be around the risk of COVID. So he had to stay at home while you all played. In the meantime, I think you poked around his locker stall and grabbed a couple bats. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we had to try out a new model. So it's kind of at that point where, a couple of us we just wanted to try a new feel out and step up and, just go swing it and see what happens. And it worked out pretty good the first day. So we're using it for a bit there.
Yeah, it was good. You hit a bomb with it, didn't you?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, he was he liked that. I follow him on social media. It was fun to watch him on his Instagram stories with that. Do you like social media? Now Goldie, he doesn't have any accounts whatsoever. Surprisingly, Brebbia doesn't. Like Brebbia would be amazing on social media. He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, he's just a personal character though. You got to talk to Brebs in person to really see what he's like. But yeah, he's a great dude.
Brebbia is unreal. I went on the one of the Cardinals caravans with him, And he said, I visit every town. I make sure I visit the best coffee shop. You want to go tomorrow morning? And it was like snowing sideways in Peoria. I'm like, are you
For
seriously
sure.
going to do that? And he's like, I might. The next
Yeah.
morning, he's got his cup of coffee. He did. He walked to the nearest coffee shop. He's unbelievable, that guy.
Yeah. Bus at 6 a.m. doesn't matter for him.
We had a question from a fan about playing in an empty ballpark. Another fan asked a question, when did you start to play baseball, Tyler? So you are from Canada. We know you had a lot of options in terms of sports, and hockey obviously rules up there. What made you love this game so much?
Well, obviously growing up, I was taking skating lessons when I was like 4 years old. That's kind of stereotype around here. So I was on the ice pretty early. I picked up ball when I was about 10 or 11. So it kind of just carried on from there, just something to do in the summer. And I just ended up hitting and, playing good and just found a knack for it. So carried that up through into high school. We don't have high school club ball. We have I guess the Legion's a good comparison. There's clubs with areas, and then you play different areas. Anyways, that's where I went to in the Premier League. That's up here in Western Can. And just ended up traveling me and getting me down to the States, Washington State, Cali, Arizona on the West Coast here. And I was able to get exposure there and just go from there.
Yeah, it's outstanding. And then you had that rise to the big leagues. Tell me about, I love hearing big league debut stories. What was your major league debut like?
Yeah, I was at Wrigley. I was in Omaha, which is Kansas AAA, Omaha, Nebraska, and Stubby was the AAA manager at the time, and he calls me at 11:30, 12 o'clock, saying that I'm going up to the league. So I was pretty hyped about that one. That was April 17, 18. Anyways, I ended up having an hour and a half of sleep, flying to Chicago. 6 a.m. flight, early as can be, and then we ended up getting snowed out. So that was my first experience going to the big leagues.
What was it like just going back to that when you knew that you were going to become a Cardinal? What did you know about us and this town and this organization?
Yeah, it was just so crazy, to finally be called up after spending 5 years in the minor leagues, just working, grinding, and being able to get the call that says basically it's all worth it, and you earn this was great for me, and something that I've never taken for granted and will never forget either. So there's some feelings like that you'll just never forget.
Yeah, and it's a heck of an organization. It's one that goes back to the 1800s.
Sure.
I'm sure you feel this too. The fans are really good. They're also very, very passionate. I always say and I've known in covering Tony La Russa, Mike Matheny, and now Mike Schild, I joke to them. I say, how do you manage this game in front of 45,000 managers? They're very knowledgeable, but they let you know how they feel.
Yeah, it's a baseball town for sure. Like I said, I was even playing video games with St. Louis and MLB MVP 2004, way back in the day too. So just knowing that it's a baseball town and they know how to build their teams and just have that good chemistry and camaraderie that the boys usually have is something that really excels them and keeps them on top. So there's nothing more prestigious than being a Cardinal, and it's a great place to be and play.
We love having you part of it. There's no doubt about it. It's a great city, and I mentioned to Jason earlier about the American Cancer Society and its relationship with the Cardinals and about St. Louis as being such a giving town. I wanted to ask you about cancer. Has cancer affected you and your loved ones, Tyler, in your life?
Unfortunately, yes, it has. I think like a lot of people, it was my aunt back when I was 5 or 6 years old, way back 20 years ago. So, I haven't recently been affected, but I definitely have seen the grasp that it can hold. So, it's just unfortunate happening sometimes, and it's just the way it is. I know, just gotta do what you can,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of parts to it. Prevention, awareness, funding so that research can continue. And now during COVID, it's just a different element to it, is that we just have to be able to protect. I think one thing that Jason and I were talking about earlier, just protect and understand and stay in contact with as many people as we can, and give if you can.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to, is sticking with your fam at the end of the day, and just being there for them and supporting them. And obviously, everything's gonna hopefully work out okay, and just carrying on as best as you can. So that's just as good memories as all I have from my aunt, and wish her well. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and the best to your family. And just before we go, we're sitting here on what is today, November 18th. So it's like, before you know it now, in what is it, 3 months you'd be into spring training at this point. But a lot of guys report early, don't they? Maybe it's a little early to ask you this, but kind of what's your plan moving forward here for 2021? How do you keep yourself going this offseason?
For me, I'm gonna do just pretty much like solo stuff. I got a couple buddies that, they're fighting back from indie ball and just scrapping low A, or coming back up in the minor leagues. So we're gonna get together and do as much as we can, live BPs, hitting in cages. I got some buddies that just built a facility over in Vancouver, downtown Van. So I'm going to be heading out with there and to train. So, I got a lot of options out here to prepare myself as best as I can. And, as athletes and as MLBers, we're responsible to come down as ready as we can. So that's the plan.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about this guy not being in shape. This guy's absolutely ripped. I mean, and how do you balance that too? Because you obviously want to be as big and strong as you can, but you keep your eye on, like you said, baseball shape is different too, right? So there's a balance. Do you have like a sheet of paper or something that you follow each and every day in terms of nutrition, and is every hour accounted for, or do you who do you lean on in that way?
No, I mean, I got a pretty strict diet, and it's almost like a lifestyle at this point. Like, I don't really need to think about it. It's just kind of what I'm doing. I'm very strict with what I'm putting in there, and just making sure I'm getting my activities in, making sure I'm working out every day or near every day, and then having a good stretching and recovery sessions after that. Just doing what I can to keep my body in tip-top shape and be ready to get the next lift in and be ready for the next step, which is turning into baseball training. And it's going to be coming up pretty quick here. So
it is. Yeah, it'll get here fast. Guys will start reporting to Jupiter, and off we go. I'm already making plans to be down there. I mean, my hope is, I keep fingers crossed that we can just go back to normal. It's not. It really is a day-to-day thing, though. And I know. Last thing here, Tyler, is that the great thing about the Cardinals is they communicate really well. Like Mike Schilt is just salt of the earth. Like, what a guy, and I know that he stays in contact with all of you.
Yeah, they're definitely on, their duties, I guess you could say. Skip and trainers are checking in on us pretty often during the offseason, obviously giving us our space to let us do our thing, but they're checking in. They're reminding us that we care, and that's not needed, but it's nice to see once in a while. So, just making sure that we're staying on top of our biz, and there's nothing to worry about with any of us as far as I'm concerned.
I'm looking forward to it, and there's just nothing better than a full Busch Stadium. We're going to get there, folks. We're going to get there. It's just it's going to require patience and teamwork on all of our parts. We're not going to make it without being together, and when we do, I assure you, it will be the most emotional experience you've ever had there. When that place is full again and the Cardinals take the field and it's packed, it's going to be amazing. But we'll get to that point. In the meantime, we do some virtual gatherings, and this has been one of my favorites, really, to have Tyler O'Neill, the Cardinals left fielder, with us. Tyler, thank you for doing this. I really, really appreciate it, and thanks to the American Cancer Society for making it happen.
Yeah, thank you, Tom, and thank you, American Cancer Society, for having me on today. Appreciate it.
There is Cardinals Gold Glover, Tyler O'Neill, with us right here. And we thank you, folks, for joining us and for supporting the American Cancer Society. You see our sponsors on the bottom of the screen. KMOX, we are proud to support it as always. Ameren, Edward Jones, and the 11-time world champion St. Louis Cardinals. We thank you for joining us on Walk Off to Fight Cancer. Thank you to Christine Winter, Jason McClellan, Tyler O'Neill. I'm Tom Ackerman. We will see you soon. Be well.
All right.
All right, we're still live. You'll just have to whoever
Yeah, I'm
controls
trying to
it
get
there.
it to end broadcast, so maybe we just all go away.
Well, we can all say bye as a foursome.
Bye, everybody.
That was fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, you guys.
everybody.
All right.
Have
See
a
ya.
great week. Good night.